Right then, this is a quick walk around video for a really lovely Honda CR-V. This is a 1.6 SR diesel, 2014 car. Very low mileage one, just 56,000 miles, or just coming up to it. The car is in absolutely beautiful condition. Benefits from the big option on this one actually. So this one has the sat-nav upgrade, so it's got the sat-nav from the top of the range EX model. So that means it gets a large rear camera as well. That's a very sought after option on this car. Going around the car, front of the car lovely and clean. Lights and lenses clear, intact without any cracks or condensation. Bonnet, I just can't see a stone chip anywhere. It's incredibly clean there. Near side of the car, absolutely mirror smooth in the panel work. No indentations at all. Near side front alloy, absolutely unmarked. And the panels down here, really good. I'm sure there's the odd tiny, I'm looking there, but the odd minuscule little sort of brush mark, but honestly it is incredibly clean for a 10-year-old car and a CR-V, which are normally heavily used. This is one of the best you're going to see. From the back, again, wonderfully clean and crisp. The offside, driver's side, beautifully smooth in the panels, really crisp, and it's been washed off but not polished, and yet it looks like it's been hand polished, this car. Offside rear alloy, again, lovely condition. Remaining panel work is absolutely fantastic. Definitely one of the cleaner examples, or cleanest examples you can see on the marketplace anywhere, this sort of price range and specification. Let's go into the back now. Absolutely cavernous boot, and CR-Vs, as I always say, they are family cars, so normally very heavily used, and yet the back of this car looks like it's hardly ever anything put in it. It's coming to the back, wide opening rear doors, it's a lovely half leather Alcantara interior, leg room which is limousine-esque, and the front seats are set for me, and I'm 6 foot tall, so that's where I sit, so I'm not cheating. And the interior, again, this is where kids sit, and normally incredibly heavily used and marked, and yet this one again looks like it's been banished from the back. Let's come to the front of the passenger side. Again, lovely and clean footwell areas with a full set of Honda mats through the car. Passenger seat there, again in beautiful condition. Finally, on the driver's side, door card again really nice. Footwell areas again kept really well. The driver's seat for a 10-year-old car, incredibly clean. Inside the car now, as always, have the engine running, so the dashboard's illuminated for you. Dashboard just looks like new, incredibly clean. And there you see the big sat nav from the top of the range one with this one has DAB radio as well, all functioning perfectly. And pop the car in reverse, you can see reverse camera working exactly as it should as well. Coming down, just been kept absolutely beautifully. Come to the dashboard binnacle, hand in there for you, 55,912 miles, and there are no warning lights on the car at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 1.6 SR diesel. The car is registered SC14GOX and with a mileage of 55,912 currently recorded. The reason for all of our videos, and as I always say, especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's looking at any of our cars actually online, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. The reason we've always felt it important is because, you know, we've, like many people, have been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine when photographed or described, but only to get there and find out when you drive the car and there's an obvious fault that shows up straight away, which you'd much rather know about before heading off. So that's why we do it. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this lovely part of Gloucestershire, and this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on. The hope is then that it will be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you go on a test drive. So coming to the car, twist the key, engine starts instantly, settles to a completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all related relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle, by the way. The engines are simply brilliant. In terms of what you buy a diesel for, obviously economy. The economy comes pretty easily to them. I don't do the best driving for this type of car. I've had loads of these, and I average somewhere between 50 to 55 to the gallon. I've got customers getting a lot more, and I've got customers getting less. It just depends on how you drive and where you drive, I guess. But they are very, very fuel efficient. They have all the trademark qualities you expect of a Honda, in the sense that, you know, they are very, very reliable and long lasting with good regular maintenance. They're timing chain driven, so there's no cam belts on them, no big service, nothing to worry about them snapping or breaking. The other part of it is just how nicely they drive. It's a very smooth, quiet engine, only noticeably a diesel at very low revs, but on a cruise, it's just very, very smooth indeed. But just a lovely unit, a really, really lovely unit. Also, you know, very flexible. A lot of small capacity turbocharged diesels that give you nothing, loads of lag, then they go and then they die away. This is very linear in the way it performs, and don't think just because it's a 1.6 hasn't got grunt. It does. It put your foot down and it flies along. Engine then feeds through into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch in the car, absolutely perfect. Bite point's exactly where it's meant to be. Nice and smooth in operation. And then you feed into the 6-speed manual gearbox. Honda have always done gearboxes brilliantly well, and this is a classic example. They could do what other manufacturers seem to do in this category and give you a kind of a commercial van style gear change, but they don't. First of all, they mount the gear lever in the perfect position. Your hand falls naturally to it. The angle of change is absolute perfection. But when you do change gear, you're greeted with short, snappy, lovely, beautifully precise and defined gear changes with lovely weighting and engagement. It's perfection for this type of vehicle. You know, that would go into any other manufacturer's top-end sports car because it's just that nice to use. And they're incredibly robust, and that feels exactly as it would have done when it was new. So come to the steering, which tracks dead straight. No vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. But again, you know, Honda, I worked for Honda when they launched the original CR-V, and Honda were very proud of the fact that they were producing something which would feel very car-like to drive, and this has carried it on way ahead of their time. So the steering is precise, it's accurate, it works beautifully with the chassis. They talk together brilliantly well. But what I love about it is the weighting of it. It's really nicely weighted. It makes the car feel very confident on the road, never feels nervous. But overlight, vague power steerings, manufacturers just churn them out. They're horrible to use. This feels like it's substantial, and it is. That's what the chassis manages to do. You know, because we're talking about a tall car, comfort is a really subjective thing. You know, the temptation's always to go for a very soft ride that will initially please on test drive. So for a short burst you think, oh, that's fantastic. But then, unfortunately, you start loading people up and going around a few twisty bends, and the thing lollops about and it's got lots of secondary motions. That's where this car absolutely excels. It manages to give a very compliant, beautifully judged ride. But when it goes through corners, it flows beautifully. Ignore completely the road testers on YouTube and on other channels where they're just frustrated petrol heads who want to drive Ferraris the whole time, and they get it, oh, it's a bit dull, it's a bit this, it's a bit that, it's not very exciting. No, it isn't. It really isn't. But what excites me about it is what they've done to make it a family car to drive as well as it does, to try and do all it needs to do. Very easy to make a car handle nicely, you know, lower it, stiffen it up, but it'll just be unyielding and hopeless for this type of car. But this is brilliantly done. Incidentally, no rattles, no clonks, nothing from underneath the car at all absolutely as solid as a rock. They really do pick up speed really, really nicely. Just going to give the brakes a bit of a shove. Do as I always try and do is at speed where I can, because obviously that mimics the worst you'll feel. So brakes, very, very good indeed. Powerful, no pulsing, no vibrations, and they pull up well. So all in fine order there. And then finally, coming inside the car, which has been kept, as I said in the walk-around video, wonderfully well. Videos can never get across, of course, build quality. And these are beautifully put together cars. It's 10 years old. There's not a hint of a squeak or rattle from the interior of the car, which is as you'd expect of a Honda CR-V, because they are that well put together. Because again, Honda don't go for the showiness. Lots of the manufacturers tend to give you very pleasing aesthetics in terms of soft squidgy plastics and thunky sounding doors. This feels beautifully assembled, because it is, but what they've chosen the materials for is the use the car's going to have, so it's got to withstand a lot of knocking and bashing, and that's what it does superbly, and this is testament to it. Lovely place to sit, because you've got fantastic visibility all around the car. You feel very confident on the road. Huge wing mirrors to help you with reversing and lane changes, but the dash layout itself is very user-friendly by comparison to modern cars. Sat-nav is one of the easiest you're going to use, or functioning exactly as it should. Dual zone climate control, so you can have different temperatures side to side if you so wish, and that pumps out absolutely ice cold air. All of the switch gear, everything you twist, press, prod, has that wonderful high quality damped feel that Honda always give. Heated seats, again, working exactly as they should. By the way, did I say, yeah, that pumps out ice cold air. Check that in the workshop. Repeating myself, I'm sure, but there we are. Memory of a goldfish. Dash binnacle in front, simplicity itself, just clear, crisp dials. You look at it, take the information in, you're looking back at the road, so it's taking your eyes off the road for the least amount of time. And then this lovely leather-bound steering wheel, which, like the rest of the interior, absolutely beautiful condition. I cannot fault it. Drives absolutely beautifully. It's a really, really fine car, this one.